Is it recording? Yes, it is. All right, thank you for joining me in yet another exercise in which I will read the following paragraph to you. Embedded within this paragraph are multiple errors, perhaps related to capitalization, punctuation, spelling, grammar, syntax, and the like. Just keep that in mind as I read the paragraph to you, after which I'll step out of frame, ask that you pause the video, make any corrections you can independently, and resume when you're ready. Okie dokie, let's go ahead and jump in. I'll just start by reading, as I mentioned. Mrs. Lee, the cafeteria manager, pointed out that pizza will now be served every other Thursday. She said this change was made in order to keep the pizza lunches a special occasion for students. Mrs. Lee said it seemed, quote, "It seemed to us that serving the same food each week would get boring. We really thought this change would help make the pizza lunches more special. The new schedule went into effect this week." All right, go ahead and pause the video to make your corrections. Alrighty, since I am moving, it looks as though you are ready to correct. So starting at the beginning, we have Mrs. Lee. Mrs. is both a title, it's a part of the honorific or that register, and it is an abbreviation. In this case, an abbreviation will require a period at the end, and her surname or last name, Lee, should be capitalized since it's a proper noun. So Mrs. Lee, comma, the cafeteria manager, comma, so this is in a positive, it's describing the noun that came before it, talking more specifically about Mrs. Lee. So Mrs. Lee, the cafeteria manager, splice it in with commas, pointed out that pizza will now be served every other Thursday. Thursday being a proper noun, the day of a week. She, starting a new sentence, should always begin with a capital. She said this change was made in order to keep the pizza lunches a special occasion for students. It's a little odd. So lunch is a special occasion for students, period. Here we've completed our thought and we need to segue into the next because we're starting a new thought, which means the next one being both a title, Mrs., and the beginning of the sentence should start with a capital, and it's also an abbreviation, needs that period. Lee, a surname, proper noun, requires capitalization. Mrs. Lee said, comma, it seemed. Here we're starting, even though it's embedded within the same clause, we're starting what you would consider a new sentence, or in this case, the dialogue, the part of what she said, you treat it as a new sentence. So I'm going to capitalize the I and it. It seemed to us that serving the same food each week would get boring. This is a homophone. Sounds similar to the word I intend to use, but spelled differently. In this case, boring, like you're making a hole in something, right? Like I'm boring a hole into the wall, should be B-O-R-I-N-G, as in not exciting or something you wouldn't be enthusiastic about. And then it looks like we end the quote there. Oh, no, I'm sorry, we don't. I'm continuing. We really thought this change would help. And for whatever reason, it stops suddenly and segues inelegantly into the next idea, which is actually a continuation of that first idea. So we thought this change would help, lowercase m, because we're not starting a new sentence, make the pizza lunches more special, period. The new, different, again, homophone, right? Sounds like the one I intend to use. In this case, K-N-E-W, new, as in I thought it, as opposed to new, as in fresh or novel. The new schedule went into effect this week. Here it seems as though that's not a part of what she was saying. So I'm going to go ahead and just before it, so just at that previous clause, I'm going to end it with quotes because it appears that's her full statement. The new schedule went into effect this week. Here they're just providing that insight, and I'm going to conclude with a period. Alrighty, I hope this exercise was helpful to you. If it was, please feel free to give this video a like, and if you haven't already, I would very much appreciate a subscription. Apart from that, I look forward to working with you, hopefully in the next one. All right.